Hello, America, and everywhere else in the world. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Corey Has a Guest. This time around, I'm joined by my man Dante Hill. He's a rapper. He is a dope human who's on a journey just like everybody else and figuring out this little shit we call life. You know what I mean? So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And stay tuned at the end because I have a single from his new EP, The View from Halfway Down, dropping April 16th. So check it out. I'm sure you're going to love it because I love it. And we like the same shit, don't we? All right, guys, later. Hello, America, and everywhere else in the world. Today, this is another edition of Corey Has a Guest, and I'm joined today by a person who I've known for a long time, and I'm actually a very big fan of. And I feel like people don't say that enough. I feel like a lot of times people will know somebody for a long time, and they'll see somebody doing well, and if they're not necessarily in the best position, they'll be like low-key hating on them a little bit. But this dude, his grind is like contagious. You know what I mean? Like you see this dude hustling and he's a hardworking dude and he's also very talented. You know what I mean? So I want to introduce my boy Dante Hill right now.
Yo, bro, I appreciate that, man. I feel so weird when people say shit like that. Thank you, man.
That shit is weird, right? When you're sitting right there and somebody's showing you mad love.
Yeah, there's no way to look humble when that's happening. You just sitting there silently, like getting complimented. There's no way to take that the right way. I appreciate that though, for real, man.
Yo, low-key, no doubt, bro. Low-key, I think that's why they invented roasts. So they could make fun of you, but really it's like, yo, you know we love you, right?
No, the roast is scary, man. Roast is scary. The comics that are in those things is always just so talented, man. I'm always like, I look at those things like, how do you comfortably sit in a room knowing anybody can say whatever they want about you and that they're going to be good at it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because if you're part of, like, there's obviously the person that's getting roasted, but then you're also on a panel of people and everybody's going to go down the line and like throw jabs at you too. It's like,
you ever saw the Jamie Foxx one with that, with Doug something? I forgot his name.
Doug Stanhope?
Doug Williams. You got to look. I'll send it to you. I
gotta look that up. Wait, is that the one where Jamie Foxx was shutting this other dude? Wait, were you talking about the roast of Shaq?
I don't know whose roast it was. I just see the clip. Yeah, it was Shaq.
It was Shaq and Jamie Foxx. Like the dude these jokes weren't landed, and Jamie Foxx was like,
"It's like I am your conscience."
Yes, yes. Yo, Jamie Foxx he's one of the most talented dudes I think that has ever existed.
Yeah, man. It's hard to not be inspired by people like him.
Absolutely. So my man, bro, I want you to introduce yourself to my listeners because I know you as to me, like I'm the type of guy, you make music and I'm a big rap fan and I'm a big, like, I mean, it's just part of it's part of my culture. You know what I mean? Like that shit is the first cassette tape I ever had was DMX Flesh of My Flesh. No. Was it Flesh of My Flesh? No, it was the one before that.
Hell is Hot.
No, actually, it was Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I had that. I had Jay-Z, Volume 2, and I had Will Smith, Big Willie Style. I had those three cassette tapes.
That last one fucked me up.
You know what I mean? But I've always been a fan of hip-hop my whole life, and a reason why I respect you is because you keep like a certain thing alive for me. Like you're a lyrical dude. Like you're like a technician with the shit, and that's for me, like how, like when I listen to your music, I'm like, yo, this dude just is spitting bars. You know what I'm saying? So like, just tell our audience a little bit about what you do. And
yeah, for sure, man. So my artist name is Dante Hill. Birth name Rob Stapleton, but my pops is a comedian and I'm named after him. So I just kind of knew if I wanted to break out into any field of entertainment on my own, I had to change my name. So I went with Dante Hill because I feel like it's marketable. I think that a lot of people get into music and then they kind of make it their ceiling without realizing it with their name. Somebody like Jamie Foxx, for example, we were just talking about, like his real name is Eric Bishop. and he used Jamie Foxx in order to get booked at certain clubs that may have been looking for female comics, so they would take the name because Jamie sounds like a female name as well, so it's unisex. And I just think like as rappers, I look at people like 50 and Ludacris who transcended music and now they're huge in the movies and film and television. And I know it has to kill them to like be cast alongside like Matthew McConaughey and to have the name be Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. It looks like you're a cowboy, so I just wanted to have a first and last name. So I took Dante Hill, Dante being based on Dante Alighieri, who's my favorite author, and Hill based on my grandfather. Yeah, so that's where the name came from. Yeah, I've just been doing music for close to 10 years now on the studio. Yeah, which is crazy when I think about it. But yeah, I did a lot of shows before COVID. I was doing a lot of shows in the city, like did a lot of shows at SOBs, a lot of the Brooklyn spots.
I like SOBs a lot.
Yeah, SOBs is a huge proving ground, I think, for a lot of upcoming artists. I did a lot of shows there, and I moved with this promotional company called Livewire Entertainment, and they booked me for most of the shows that I did. I went on a few tours around the country. I opened up for Drake, OVO Fest during Caribana Weekend like 3 years ago. Been on Sway in the Morning. Some accolades I'm proud of, man, because I put a lot of time into this shit, man. So I just feel like sometimes I got to think back to how many things I succeeded at in order to keep myself going, because this shit is so fucking hard. But yeah, that's about the origin story, I guess, right there.
I love that. I love a good origin story.
Yeah.
No, but I like that you said, you got to look back and think about the things that you have accomplished, because I feel like, and a huge question to me is like, why do you think people give up? And because for a while, sometimes shit might be quiet for a minute, right? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? You got to look back like, yo, but I've done dope shit. Like, I know I'm capable of it, right?
Yeah. And you have to do that for yourself, because you can't count on anybody else to do it. Like, a big reason why I got into music in the first place was because it was one of the first things that I knew I was good at from the approval of other people's standpoint. Because every time I did any rap shit with anybody, I was always like a standout. And I felt really good because I never really had anything that I was like the best in so clearly to other people. But I think the longer you're in it, the more you got to kind of develop the idea that you're doing it for you because you're passionate about it. It's what you care about. Because if it's for other people, that's going to switch. Like, for example, when you said like you really like me for like the technical aspect, which I deeply appreciate. There's so many people that like different aspects of what I do. And so what I used to always get in my head about like, how am I gonna move forward musically and still make everybody happy? Like everybody who likes something about me. Because I might be done with this particular part of what I create. Because you get bored with what you create sometimes, right? You want to change.
Oh, absolutely.
Up, right. But then I don't want to have this guy over here be like, oh, you're different now. It's like you just kind of want to avoid it, but you can't. And I think once you have to face the reality of that, it's real easy to shut down if you're not passionate about it,
Yo, that's so true. And that shit is wild how like one person's, no matter how confident you are, no matter how you walk around, like, yo, I do me, I'm my own king. Like, no matter how much you have that in your mind, you'll think of that one person that looks at you in a certain way. Like, I got people that tell me, yo, Corey, I love your podcast because, yo, it's so funny how you'll just jump from this topic to that topic and it's just off the top of the head. And I'm like, damn, well, what if today I'm not really in that same mood? I'm not really feeling that. And I'm sitting down by myself recording. And now I'm like, fuck, like, but this person said this to me. Like, that shit will get to you.
Yeah, that's part of it, man. And it's one of those things where I feel like people who aren't in it have this kind of pretentious idea of, and when I say in it, I mean like any form of entertainment where there's an audience, right? There's this pretentious thing that people do where they say like, just don't care what people think, or like why does that matter to you, or why do you care so much? And it's like it's literally part of the job. Because if you like, when you want to monetize these things, if you want it to be a career, you have to learn the business aspect of it, and people are a huge part of that. So you're gonna care creatively on some level, right? But you could probably shake that off, but you have to take in the fact that audience is involved. Because like you, for example, you've been going crazy with this podcast, right? And, and so, like you said, if you decided one day you're just not in a certain mood, you do have to think about the audience that you've already built that tunes in for a certain type of thing. Like, is this going to turn these people off? And it's like, so when people tell me not to think about it, It's like
it's tricky because I think about this shit too, because you also, as an entertainer, you want to give people what they want, right?
right.
Like I always use this example. I'm like, yo, if I'm Guns N' Roses and you come see me at the Garden, I gotta do Welcome to the Jungle.
That's a fact. Yeah,
Like if you come and if I don't do Welcome to the Jungle, then you're gonna want your money back.
Right. Billy Joel's gonna have to do Piano Man until he's on his deathbed.
He has to.
Every time he performs anything. Like you can't not do the hits. Like you can't go into this and feel like it's just gonna be about you and what you want to do. And people have this thing where like there's this purity of the art, which certainly does exist. But I think that people put way too much stake on that. Like that idea of a sellout or somebody compromising their creativity, I think is way too overrated. I don't think that exists nearly as much as people think. I think that natural evolution does exist for a lot of artists who are willing to expand in whatever field. And I think the people that matter, or the people that are really the tastemakers that affect your trajectory in this, always understand that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So does it so I guess in that capacity, it does get a little easier to kind of like tune certain people out,
Yeah. And then in just so many different ways too, I feel like you're like the people who've stuck with you from the off the rip, they're gonna grow with you. You know what I mean? Like I think of the artists that I've always been a fan of, and even like the actors that I watch in the movie. Like, you see a certain actor in a movie that anytime a movie comes out with that person in it, you're like, I gotta see that. Even if the shit looks like it might be a stupid movie, you're like, yeah, but like I like Jack Nicholson. I'm watching this movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, so, or like artists like Hov, for example. When I think about Jay, I'm like, yeah, I listened to him talk wild, crazy hood shit when I was like 6 years old. And now all he talks about is like money, his wife, and how he wants to take care of his kids and be a good example. Yeah. Like, I'm like, you know what? Evolution. He grew up. He evolved. Like,
yeah, I love that.
You know what I mean? And I think that shit is dope. How do I feel about M now? That's a good question. Because I feel like you and I have bonded over M in the past.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like as a kid, when he was on some, I just don't give a fuck, and he had all those fucking Weed Lacer, 97 Burgundy Blazer, like he's coming out with all these hard freestyles. I feel like he kind of has become what he always wanted to become now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's at a point where motherfuckers aren't really like the newer generation of artists that are coming out aren't necessarily checking for that kind of aggressive, I'm better than you at this skill kind of rapping.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that battle rap kind of skill. Like that shit is not really as prevalent as it was when we were a little younger. So, and I feel like he's always kind of had that in him, but he does his goofy stuff and he does his like shit for the album and I'm gonna dress up in a costume type shit. Yeah. And he's fun and he's like, he is an entertainer, but I think he never lost that battle rapper side of him. And I feel like that's just all he really has been spitting like he's been spitting like that now. And he's older. He got a grown ass woman for a daughter.
Yeah.
Like he's almost 50, bro. I actually was driving.
He is 50.
He's no, he's 48. I was driving yesterday and I stopped at a red light and I was like, yo, how old is this motherfucker now? Because I was listening to Caterpillar.
That's what you do at red lights?
Yeah. That's what I do at red lights. I look up how old people are. Yo, this I was like, yo, I was listening to Caterpillar and when he comes on, and I love when him and Royce rap together, and
me
he
too.
fucking
Me too. Every time.
Killed. I love him and Royce together. To me, I'm a big Slaughterhouse guy too. Like, so that's the kind of rap I come from. So I try to keep an open mind with like some of the new shit. Yeah. But I can't fuck with something if they're really not saying anything. But that's just as a writer and as a person who, like, you know what I mean? I'm a writer and I like poetry and I like people who I like people who play with words really well. So like I actually took Shakespeare in college as an elective course on purpose because I like people who know how to use words like that. You know what I mean? So I'm always going to be an M fan. You know what I mean? How about you?
That's funny. Well, I always think about him when the Jay conversation comes up, because at the time when we were really crazy about him, like when I was in high school, I know that M was like, was my favorite rapper of all time. And Jay, I wasn't crazy about. Like I always knew he was good, you know, but I didn't. It just wasn't for me. And I guess it was the kind of kid I was. Because you know, we were just kind of, I think, a little bit more on the silly side with everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So M just had like a natural, you know, there's a natural connotation to me with it. The J shit, I just didn't relate too much. But as I got older, I think it kind of shifted. And I think a lot of that is as I've matured, the content in Jay's music has matured as well. And even the content that he had from way back, I could get it more. Like as I got older, I got all of it. The thing with super technical rappers to me is the thing that we love about them a lot from an early point, before it even develops, before your taste develops, is just literally like multi-syllabics and what they're doing with words. Even before you know what it is, rhyme is just pleasurable to the ears, right? That's scientific fact. That's part of why we love rap or just music rhymes the way it does. And if it doesn't rhyme, it just doesn't feel right.
Dr. Seuss made a whole career.
Exactly. Yeah. The GOAT. But I just feel like M got to a point where it's all technical now. And I feel like I can't do an album of 20 songs of just incredible rhyming if the content isn't there so much.
It's harsh.
Yeah, like I think the last M album I loved was Recovery.
I thought Marshall Mathers LP2 was actually a very good album.
I thought it was cool. Like I liked Headlights. I liked a few joints on it, but I just think I'm kind of past the overtly silly M, because I feel like even he realizes that I think he's doing that to appease a specific base, which a lot of artists do. But I just kind of feel like when we talk about a lot of artists saying nothing, like he's at a point now where a lot of it is just like what he'll do to you with a wheelbarrow. And steel marrow, and you know, it's just like it's running, but it's just I don't know. I guess it doesn't serve me the way that it used to, you know.
Right.
Church, because I still love him. Like he's still in my top 5, but it's just I think he's moved a little lower in the list.
Yeah, it's like I really feel like he kind of just has wanted to be like, yo, look how dope. Like nobody else could do it like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
and a lot of people can now is the thing too.
A lot of people can now too,
and with a more balanced aspect, like Kendrick, for example. Like every time he puts something out, the way that like he puts together a body of work, it's not wasted at all. Like when he disappears for this long, like the amount of time it's been from Damn, I know for a fact he's not just gonna come back and just be rapping really well.
You know I mean? Yeah. Well, I mean, I always used to say this. I actually used to say, and I caught this a long time ago. I always used to say, I think Eminem is probably lyrically and like one of the most untouchable rappers of all time. But except the reason why Jay-Z is always going to be, in my opinion, the best rapper is because we know he can spit, but he can also make songs that you could just like. I can't listen to M screaming in my ear at 7 a.m. while I'm driving to go do some shit. I can't. I love the dude. I can't though.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And just exactly how you said it. That's how I feel. It's like I do love him, because I feel like when I talk about him now, I have so many more criticisms, I feel like, than things I could say that I appreciate. But I feel like it really is genuinely coming from like a place of love.
Oh yeah, for real. Well, because again, it's like you grow up with these people, you know what I mean? Like these are your influences. I talk about this often. I talk about how, I mean, I talk about mental health a lot, and I talk about how you really need to kind of like make sure that you're in a good place before you do anything or get involved with anybody and a lot of it, like male influences as a young man, I didn't have like a lot of great ones. Right. So the dudes that I looked up to were oftentimes like almost like father figures to me a little bit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And I had my father in my life, but you know, my parents weren't together and I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I'm named after my father too, by the way. I didn't know that.
Are you a junior or a third?
Not because we got different middle names. But so I think it, you know what I mean? But
right.
But yeah, you know, so like having these dudes that I looked up to, because it's like if you're a young man and you're raised by a bunch of women, it's like, well, where do I learn how to become a man besides getting my ass whooped walking home because I walked on the wrong side of the street? Because I don't think that shit is cool either.
Yeah. That's a fact. I've been there.
You know?
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Yeah, I mean, you in a lot of ways, you're raised by the content that you have a natural connection to, because it speaks to you. You know, because that's definitely, I think, especially in your formative years, because it still exists now where you enjoy the content that you relate to more, but you grown. Like, you know, it's not going to shape how you go about your day. But I think a lot of time when you're younger and more sensitive and you still don't have all the emotional or the mental maturity that you're going to develop, that the weight of artists is a lot heavier to you. And I think that's why these kids are like the ones that run this shit, you know, because the kids are the ones buying all the concert tickets. They're the ones that are buying all the merch, and they're the ones that it really means something to on another level. Like, they're gonna ride for it in a different way. So
Right, right.
Kanye could put out $3,000 garbage bags, and it's gonna mean something to a huge audience of people, you know.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
What artists are you into now? Like, are there any like artists that are newer on the scene that you have in your
Yeah, man.
rotation?
So I'm like a really big fan of like well-arranged melodies and simple ones too. So like in content that's relatable, honest, what feels real to me, but the delivery is a little skewed. Like, I guess a little bit like alternative shit. Because back to M real quick, I remember when he was doing all those accents for like 2 albums, and he said he just kind of felt like he got bored with the language. And I get what he meant by that. Because you just kind of, you know, at a point, it feels like everybody's saying some version of the same thing. So I just kind of like started, I think, to fuck with shit that's a little bit more abstract. Like, I like, I don't know if you ever heard of Baby King, but if you check him out, he's really dope.
I'll check him out. I got this bad habit of only listening to shit that I like over and over again.
No, you don't know that. I have a lot of that, but I also think because I'm literally in the field of music, one thing I always keep in mind is I might personally tune into a lot of shit that's going on now because I have to. You know, I just gotta like keep myself like savvy as to what's going on. I feel like that's how you end up being outdated, when you like only listen to like the shit that you like from back then.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
You'll try to create music, you're gonna sound like, yeah. And it moves so quick now. Like, even if you rap like Crooked Eye, I think is incredible. Like, it's like it's gonna sound like 2014.
Right.
But I like a lot of alternative stuff now. So I like Baby Keem a lot. I like a lot of music that's not rap, to be honest. Like, I'm really big on Anderson .Paak, Frank Ocean. I don't know. I'm just a music guy, man. I feel like the best artists a lot of times take their inspiration from shit outside of their own genre. You know, and you learn how to incorporate it into what you do. Like a Kanye. There's no way you could tell me Kanye just listens to rap shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
You sample Akira, and you sample the movie Akira, that soundtrack, and then the video is like Greek mythology based and shit. It's like, you know, you got to take your shit from everywhere.
That's so dope. And I think that's the cool shit about being an artist. And I felt like eventually, again, it's like as you get older, you start to notice certain shit. Like, you start noticing like, oh, this is like from an old blues song.
Right.
And then they put the shit in it. You know what I mean? Like, this is Bill Withers. This is Sam Cooke. This, like, you start noticing all this shit later on. You know what I mean?
It's doper when you enjoy it. Like, one thing that I know you do, that I do too, that I think has helped me out a lot is I chill, like, for the entirety of my adult life. I've always loved like chilling at bars, like different types of bars, you know, because I feel like, first of all, the music that's played there is some of the most diverse you'll hear. Like, like Bill Withers, for example. Sam Cooke, I think both. I think the first time that I heard either one of those artists, it was in like dive bars. At least noticeably in my adult. I'm sure like I've heard it around like aunts and family members, but I mean, it's a lot of that. And then you get so many different kinds of people. Like, I feel like I benefit from being pretty articulate, you know, and being pretty open in conversation. So I feel like I've met so many people, so many different walks of life. Just in going to bars and shit in the city in Manhattan. And Manhattan is so diverse in and of itself. And I think through that, you know, it's made me really comfortable with understanding that as a rapper, I don't have to do rap shit all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have to present myself a certain way. I don't gotta like before I did this, I was thinking like, yo, should I like put on a hat, put the hood up, look like I was like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, like who like it was like, yeah, I think the human element, you start realizing how important the human element is in all of it, like in whatever you do. And I think that you can see that in certain artists that are transcendent as well. Like a Drake, I feel like only succeeds as much as he does because of how well read of an individual he seems. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah. That actually leads me to a question that I have for you. What do you feel like is a common myth about rappers? And
That
can you
freestyles are off the top. I hate that people think that shit. Nobody like. I hate when people. You ever read the comments? And somebody like it'll be like, whatever, Lil Wayne freestyle. Somebody comments will be like, "That's not a freestyle." I heard that on the second. Like this, it's not about freestyle. When you freestyle on a radio station, right, or you put a song out that says freestyle, all that it's really suggesting is that there's no hook. People have this idea that off the top is the only way to freestyle and really showcase you're good, when there's very few people, if any. I'm actually really good at it off the top, not to be arrogant or anything. I can really, but like this, that doesn't showcase your ability. You want to see what I could do, and I actually, right, when I put together my thoughts the way that I do, when I put rhymes together the way that I do, content and the message that I put together, I'm showcasing that. I want you to get a real gist of me. If I'm going off the top, I'm just going to try to rhyme whatever I can. Me and the next three guys are going to sound just like each other. And I just feel like that's a common sense thing. If you take 2 minutes to think about it,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? But people are just so critical. People are so critical of rap shit. It's ridiculous.
They
Like
really are.
Yeah, people are so pretentious to this genre. You know what I always say? Like if you went to an art exhibit and everything was abstract, it just looked like a bunch of scribbles or paint or whatever, people have this natural thing in their head that tells them to respect it. Like I don't understand it, but this is art. This is how like the geniuses of this field create. Even if you're not into it, you'll respect it. Same thing with classical music. Some people will say it's boring or whatever, but nobody will go to an opera and not be a little like stiffer, because
Yeah, you
you
get dressed up for it. You show up.
right. Right. But then for some reason, and it's not just rap, it's a lot of aspects of urban culture. People are very dismissive of the depth to it. And I think it's because of the way that people look down on people from the communities or the environments that the music is derived from. So I think that they just have this thing where they feel like, okay, I could do that too. You're just rhyming words, which is not this cadence to it, or it's like this person sounds like everybody else, or they're all doing the same thing. And it's not, but it's like either give it the respect to understand the difference in how these people are created, or just say it's not for you, or you don't get it. But people kill shit. And I've always took it real personal because it's what I do. And I'm smart enough to understand that if I did something else, if I was a doctor, nobody would tell me they could do heart surgery better than me.
Right. Absolutely, bro. Yeah. Absolutely.
Weird.
Yo, that whole idea of like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I hate that shit.
It's like, all right, well then do it then.
Right. And don't tell me that you could do it better than if that's the end of your message for me, that you could do it better, don't share that with me unless you want to fight, because I don't think I don't understand what's the intent behind that. You know what I mean? Because it's just like it's a criticism that I feel like is based on some insecurity in the individual that's expressing it to me, because I don't watch any of my homies do anything and succeed on any level and feel like I would have did it better. And like I would,
right.
And to tell that to them, instead of just,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I truthfully, I take pride in, and I say this shit all the time. I've never been a hater in my motherfucking life. You know what I mean? When I see people doing that thing, I love that shit. Even if I'm in a position that is not like where I want to be right now. And I think that's where it comes from people. I think it makes someone feel uncomfortable when they're not like feeling adequate in their life to see you just doing shit. Like, and they forget about the fact that, yo, I'm not always 100 all the time. Like, I'm not always up here. Like, I got my moments and shit too, but don't try to come, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to sit here and hate on me because you have issues within yourself. And that shit is unfortunate.
And it's such a whack way to live, man.
That shit is
such
trash.
A miserable thing. Like I was telling my girl the other day, because she's a makeup artist, and she's really good at it, and I have absolutely no experience in that field. So like when anytime a conversation or something comes up and she explains something to me, like it's genuinely interesting to me. I don't have any interest in learning learning it in order to use it, like in my own life, because it's just not a field that I feel like is ever going to do anything for me myself. But there's a science to it, you know. There's a science, like, and that's to anything, you know, no matter what it is. I don't care if you're a fucking janitor. Like, you might have a specific way that you know how to clean shit up that other people don't know. You know,
yeah, for sure.
Different type of solution and shit. And I just kind of feel like it's a miserable way to live, where you act like you just don't care about what goes into how somebody else crafts shit. Because I mean, even if you don't use that same tool, something you get from that can be incorporated into what you do somehow. I don't know. I've just seen that happen too often, where people are dismissive of things and other people are approachable as far as that thing, and then the person that took that information in ends up transcending in something, even if it has nothing to do with that. You just kind of notice that person does a little well in whatever they do because they're willing to take in information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never know what handy, but you know.
You got it. Yeah, you just got to be willing to listen. And if you don't fuck with something, you don't have to. That's the thing too. Like,
yeah.
People forget that. Like, yo, you don't even have to fuck with this. Like, you're an adult. You can turn around and leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I remember we were doing Good Bad Stories. Shout out to Turtle. We were doing our storytelling show. For those of you who don't know, me and my friend started a storytelling show in the city where we would write crazy stories, and then we would swap them out on stage, do a cold read in front of an audience, kind of just getting people to say whatever you wrote on that page. You know what I mean? Like, so anything could happen. And sometimes it got a little crazy. And one time this family was sitting there, and in my mind, I saw them in the crowd when I'm from backstage, and I was like, yo, there's a mom and a dad and like a kid. And they got up and left.
That I was at? Is that the one I was at?
You might have been at that one.
You came out with like a horse head in the beginning or something? I think I was there.
Probably. I mean, it happened. It happened actually more than once, I believe. But this family in the middle of one of the stories just got up and walked out. And I'm like, yo, that's cool. It's actually funny to me because shit got a little wild. But it's like, yo, you can always just get up and leave. Can you imagine if they started heckling? I would have had to fight somebody.
Yeah. Right. But like you said, that's an important distinction to make. Like, just don't attack me mid-performance because this isn't for you. Just separate yourself from it. You know what I mean?
Get out of here.
Yeah, and the parallel to that with the music as well is, like, I always tell people, like, you could just say it's not for you or you don't get it. You know, like, it doesn't have to be trash. Like, I'm not comfortable with the idea of calling any song or anything musical trash. You know, because I look at people like even Soulja Boy, Lil B, Chief Keef and shit, or people who I at some point was called trash. Because when I was in high school, like early college, I did do that. But then you start seeing the road that these guys kind of pave for other artists that take some aspect of what they did and maximize on it. I remember when Kanye did 808s and people were killing it. Like, that's literally now the basis of a whole generation of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like you can't be too quick to just shut something down, man. Just say you don't get it, so that when you do get it later on, you don't look like an idiot when you say, okay, I get it now.
Right, exactly.
You know
people are very vocal. Well, that's the thing. Everybody's got a platform, right? So, and
people are so arrogant in their dislike for some of this shit, like Future shit and all the way that people like imitate. Like, what is he talking about? Push. Like, they'll do it so arrogantly that now when they do actually, like, they can never admit it. Like, you can't. They'll never get it. Oh
yeah, because you talk too much shit. You were talking crazy about it in front of too many people.
Nobody made you do that. Yeah, nobody made you do that. I think people feel like they look. I don't know. They think they look cooler, or they think they look like they have like a deeper understanding of art or something when they do that shit. But I feel like you just look like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all got to go through it though. Like, I've talked shit about people because of not understanding what they do in the past, and it's something I definitely did a lot more. I'm in my 30s now. Something I definitely did a lot more when I was younger.
Crazy,
that shit is wild, right? Crazy. And I'm over here and I'm just like, yo, I used to talk crazy about shit because I didn't get it and I didn't give it a chance. But I have two options. I could either attempt to go back and be like, oh, you know, maybe I didn't really understand this because I wasn't really trying to. Maybe I was in a fucked up mood that day. Or I could just go, you know what? I actually don't care for that very much. And that's okay too. But I don't need to shit on it.
And then it will never be a part of your life again.
Yeah, I know how the algorithm works. I just won't fuck with it and it won't pop up on my screen. That's it.
Only thing I do get, which is funny to me, is a lot of people, including my girl again, a lot of people who don't like Drake have a strong dislike for him. In one of the reasons I get it, like, is you can't escape him. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the one person, if you don't like his songs, you're gonna hear him
He's
all
everywhere,
day, every day. Yeah, every time.
And then you turn on TV and he's in the State Farm commercial.
Yeah, right. That could drive you crazy. I get that. I completely get that. Completely get, because normally the people that get played like that are like universally just loved, like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? But
I mean, I love Drake actually. I'm a big fan. You know, it's funny. My wife is not a huge Drake fan.
Mm-hmm.
She likes his songs. She likes some of his songs, and she's a choreographer.
But doesn't like him.
Yeah, she's a choreographer. Right. She's made combos to his music and shit. Like, but she doesn't necessarily fuck with him like that.
That's what I mean? That's the same exact thing my girl says. She likes his song, but she doesn't like him. She don't like his face. She doesn't like how he talks. She doesn't believe him.
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him. It's hilarious.
No, but you know what though? The thing about Drake for me is I think he's very talented. I think he's I think he's a great actor. I think he's like in that Jamie Foxx caliber where he can almost do anything, except Jamie Foxx is like level above, where Jamie Foxx can play instruments and shit too. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Jamie Foxx is like, both of them are
transcendent.
Like, and they're both up there in that level. But the only thing for Drake for me is I can't really sit down and watch a Drake interview.
Oh, I love those.
I can't watch a Drake interview like that. I don't know, for some reason. Like, maybe I should go back. It's been a while.
Have you seen the Rap Radar one that came out last year?
No, I haven't, because I avoided them because I watched an interview a long time ago and I was like, I can't watch this guy in an interview.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like 09, 2010 type shit.
That's what I'm thinking. He was younger. You know what I mean? I mean,
there's like such high production quality to them now. Like they did one last year, like kind of like a turn of the decade thing. Because what's crazy is when you look at him, Cole, Kendrick and stuff, they're all like a decade in now. So they're like at the point in their career where, it is, right? Because you still remember when they first came out, right?
Yeah.
But it's like they're at that point now where it's like this is the turn of the era for them, where it's like now we got to see who's going to be able to last and who has like another gear and who doesn't. And that interview is kind of speaking like that. And again, he's very well spoken, you know. So he a lot of points that I think a lot of other rap artists specifically don't benefit from. That's another thing I want to talk about real quick. That
you got time, baby. You got time.
I feel like another thing that people need to keep in mind when they think about hip hop artists in general is people are entitled to express how they feel without it being articulated in a way that you're comfortable with. And I only say that because the same way that people are dismissive of the music, they're dismissive of a lot of the artists because of their language, or they feel like they talk like they're dumb, I guess, for lack of a better word. Just got to keep in mind, a lot of the music is reflective of the circumstances that make them that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's kind of like I've always said, like black people like who are killed by the cops or whatever don't deserve to be killed because they aren't well versed in de-escalating a situation. I myself, I haven't had huge. Cops have like fucked with me, but I've always been able to get out of the situation based on just how I kind of operate here. A lot of people don't have that, and it doesn't make it right to shit on them more because they don't. It's nothing I just think rappers get a lot, but I do enjoy the ones that are able to communicate how they feel and how they create articulately on a higher level.
Yo, 100%, bro, 100%. I feel like, and piggybacking on what you said, I've also been able to navigate and de-escalate situations just because I'm articulate enough to know how to talk to people and make it look like I'm not about to do something crazy or like, you know what I mean? I've been on both sides. I've been like, hey, Corey, you're being aggressive, or I've been on some, hey, listen, I'm the level-headed person right now. Right. You know what I mean? But not a lot of people have that skill. Not a lot of people from where I come from would walk out of that situation alive, let alone be able to sit in an interview and have a conversation that you feel like is intelligent. Yeah. You know,
and there's real traumas that come from like the spaces that we're from, that unfortunately some people don't have the best tools to deal with them. Like you have a good relationship with your dad, right? At least now, right? And with your mom. And I do too. Like I have a great stepdad, I have a good mom, I have a good pops, but still the environment I was in, wasn't the best, but I had the right people around me. I had the right friends that were my closest ones. So that it was kind of easier for me than some others to navigate through certain things that other people couldn't navigate through the same. And then when you get caught up in different kinds of shit, you do have different types of trust issues or different types of defense mechanisms and all of that. And I don't like when it just gets casted off as like being ghetto or you're
Right,
too
right, right,
hood
right.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I have a lot of people that mean that mean very much to me that are like that. And I take that, I feel insulted like almost on their behalf when I feel like people look at them that way.
It's so crazy because as a younger man, I used to want nothing more because I grew up in the projects my whole life, right?
Yeah,
Until I became an adult. And I grew up in the project.
Yeah.
I grew up in Bronxdale Projects, which is now Chief Justice Sotomayor housing. But I grew up in the Bronxdale Projects my whole life.
Yeah.
I was told that Drag On was from the first section when I was from the third section. I never saw Drag On. Yeah. But anyway,
that goes around, man. I've run into him like 4 times.
Never saw the guy, but he had that joint with DMX. Anyway, and all I wanted, because of the the traumas that I had faced and the things I had to see and experience at such a young age that I felt like I shouldn't have been privy to, you know what I mean? Like the violence that I experienced and was around, and just watching a teenage girl getting into a fight with a grown-ass woman because she said something else to her, just all that kind of regular hood shit that about, because that was home to me. That shit was just regular to me. You know what I mean? That shit was normal. So so, and then as
you fall in love with some of it.
You find out you're like, yo, this shit to me, I feel comfortable around here. That's why when motherfuckers start panicking because they heard somebody yelling at somebody. I'm like, yo, that shit nothing looks like it's about to pop off. So I'm cool. Because I know what shit looks like when it's about to pop off. You know what I'm saying? So but being around that at a young age, it's like, fuck, like I gotta get out of here. This shit is toxic. Like I'm around a bunch of people who want to do better, don't know how to do better, but keep talking about doing better, but keep making poor choices because that's just all that's around them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't save everybody, but I can't but I can't stay here for my own sanity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to fucking just lose my shit. Yo, one day I was walking down the street. I'll never forget this shit. I was in 7th grade. I was on White Plains Road in the Bronx. I had my academics jeans on, sagging.
Damn.
I had a red do-rag on with the cape hanging out. And my dad drove by. And my dad was always on something, like, my parents had me young. So, whatever the circumstances were, they were just trying to deal with it. And I feel like oftentimes we forget, like, our parents are people but they have to live with their choices as well. And we're part of their story, but it's like, these are their own people. My dad pulled up on me while I was walking with my boys, popped an illegal Yui, jumped out of the car, snatched my do-rag off my head, and was like, and made me pull my pants up in front. Yo, he basically just G-checked me in front of my boys. And I was like, damn, that shit, I was looking crazy out there, bro.
I bet. You're lucky you didn't have no girls with you.
Yeah, that shit would have been
crazy. You can't recover from that.
You can't recover from that. I gotta move. I gotta
not at 12. Yeah.
I gotta transfer schools. They don't have the
maturity. Yeah, they don't have the maturity to get past that. You're like, nah, he a sucker.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yo, and that's the crazy shit too, bro. The girls back then wanted you to be one of these dudes. Like, if you were getting in trouble all the time, you were sexy to the girls.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a fact. I mean, that's still the case in a lot of ways. Like, I do. Yeah. Like, because I do notice there is a specific there's a specific demographic that I feel like I attract based on the world that I'm in.
Oh yeah.
Like the specific way that I carry myself and all of that, what I do, that's just always going to exist. I think there's just always going to be some degree to which people are going to be attracted to what feels like it's edgy, even if it ain't.
This is the thing, though. But this is the thing. You know what's really edgy? like what's really edgy is believing in yourself, I think, and doing,
Ooh,
saying you're gonna do something and actually doing it.
ooh.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
like the
just
Dare
be
program. You know, it's
exact,
really
yo,
edgy.
being that dude, be yo, you know what's really
You know, it's
edgy?
really edgy. Believing in yourself.
Believing in it. No, because there's a lot of motherfuckers who
Yeah.
are faking it, bro. And authenticity,
No, that's a fact.
you
That's a
cannot fake
fact.
authenticity. So to
Yeah.
me, the most dangerous motherfucker in the room is somebody who doesn't give a fuck if you
Yeah.
like him or not. He's gonna do his
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
And I
saying?
think that catches people too. Even if it's subconsciously, there's something about that people admire.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, like people want to emulate, you know, because that's hard. It's just hard to be
absolutely.
like that, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. If you
Yeah,
had a
man.
superpower, what would your superpower be?
Teleportation.
Boom.
I think about that every day.
Yeah, because you can't be two places at once.
Yeah, man. It's just I hate getting up. I hate getting ready and shit. It's like if getting ready was the entirety of the mission, then it would be so light. You just be anywhere, vacations, you know how much you would save on like flights and
Oh my
hotels and
God.
shit. Imagine being able to spend a week in like Singapore, and every time you're done with your day, you just go back to bed.
You should be right home.
Hell yeah. It's not the most fun because I think sometimes people pick theirs off of what's the most fun. I just think practicality.
Well,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
you could definitely get your money's worth on that
Hell yeah.
for sure.
What would you pick?
Damn, teleportation, bro. Now,
Yeah, you can't pick it. You can't take that way. You can't take
now
it. You
you
gotta
know
be
what I would
different.
want? It's so funny. I was thinking about this shit the other day. I would want a healing factor, like Wolverine and
Mm,
Deadpool and shit.
With the like living longer part too.
The living longer part I don't need
Yeah.
because for me, and I always say this shit, like I would never want to be a vampire because you gotta watch all the people that you love die, and then you just got that's
Yeah.
gonna just keep happening. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, that's why Captain America was like, yo, fuck this. I'm old. Let me just get old and die now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to, but the lady that I love just fucking died. All this guy is
Yeah.
gone. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah. I
You
feel
know what I
you know
mean?
the cynic in me hates movies now that not hates. Let me be real. Uh the cynic in me hates the idea of vampires and all that shit that lives like thousands of years. Cause I think about that. I'm like, are you not desensitized to these things that you're reacting to for the whole movie? Spend
Yeah,
like
yeah.
thousands
Like,
of
why are
years.
you
It's like,
surprised?
yeah, why do you care?
History has
Like,
repeated itself
yeah,
over and over again since the beginning of time.
yeah,
We just have better technology now.
yeah. You literally watch slavery. And
Yeah,
like,
you
you
watched
know what I'm saying?
slavery,
Like
you
you
watched the Holocaust, like
yeah, you
you
saw
were
that shit.
alive.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay if she leaves you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they bug out about like the smallest shit. They even are like that Twilight. Like, how long were they alive? Do you ever fucked with Twilight?
You know what's so crazy is so I'm gonna be there was a point in my life where I'd be embarrassed to admit this shit, but so I read the book,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was like, wow, this is actually it's a good book.
Okay.
And then I went and watched the movie and I was like, fuck this whole shit
Fuck the
because
book.
the movie, I thought the movie, I was about to talk reckless, but I'm gonna just say
Nah,
that
go ahead.
I thought that fucking movie was trash.
Yeah.
I
That was a
saw
bad movie. That
I
was
saw
totally bad.
Robert Pattinson, and I actually
He's incredible.
like Robert
Yeah, he's
Pattinson
an
a
incredible
lot.
actor. He's an incredible.
He is dope. Did you
Yeah.
see Tenet?
Hell
He's
yeah. Hell
dope.
yeah. Did you
But
see what's the one where it's like he's with his brother. It's on Netflix.
I know
Bad
what you're talking about.
fuck.
He's got
Fire.
like a flannel on and shit,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
windbreaker
yeah.
on or some shit.
Bad
I haven't
times.
watched it
Something.
yet.
Good
I
times
haven't
or
seen
bad
it.
times. Oh, it's fucking fire.
If it's good, I will check it. He got like a beard
Yeah.
and shit in the movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched it. I was like, what is
Yeah.
this? Shit
Yeah, no,
it looks
he's really good.
yo,
Mhm.
he's dope. But I saw him in the movie and I was like, that's not really how they describe the dude in the book. Like, I'm just such a
Yeah.
that's my biggest problem. I think
Yeah.
the older you get, the more you become comfortable revealing like your flaws and just talking about them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like
It takes the power out of them. Like even just admitting when you're wrong. Like I'd be the first one. The moment that I realize I fucked up or something or I was incorrect, son, I'd be like, oh shit, my bad. Takes the power
yeah.
out of it. If you
You have
fight
to.
it forever, then it's like when it does come out or when you can no longer defend it, now you look crazy. And people kind of want to embarrass you or whatever now because of how hard you fought on something that you were clearly wrong.
Yep. Unless you want to die on that hill.
Yeah, no, I'm
You know what I'm
cool.
saying? It's like, yo, do you want to be wrong or do you want to be, because you could be right incorrectly too. Like you could
Yeah.
be right on some, like you overdid
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can
You know
be
what I
arrogant
mean?
with it. I've definitely suffered from that at
Oh, for
points. I
sure.
think sometimes I beat I could like beat a dead horse at a point.
I beat
I
the
gotta
shit out of
catch
a dead
myself.
horse, bro.
Yeah, but I'll apologize. But once I
Yeah.
catch it, I'll get called out on it. Be like, my fault.
Yeah, like my bad. I got a little crazy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, I would take a healing factor because I feel like just for what I do, like, I mean, I do entertainment stuff. I talk a lot. I've actually been writing comedy because I'm planning on getting on stage and doing some stand up.
Oh
But
yeah, let me know when you want to get into that, dogs. I got a lot of. I mean, I know you don't know people too, but I got a lot of plugs in that shit too.
yeah, that'd be dope. We'll talk. We'll talk. But so I've been writing jokes and podcasting, obviously. But I'm also a trainer. I'm a personal trainer, and fitness is like a major part of my world. So sometimes it's like, yo, my body is not really always feeling that great but I feel like if I had a healing factor, I would be able, my recovery would be so dope that I could like do this, go train people, do like, you know what I mean? Like I could just always be on point.
Yeah.
I think right now that's what I would pick. I think if you ask me that question in a week from now, I might say some other shit.
Mm.
You know,
a week ago you would have said some other shit.
Yeah, I think a week ago I probably would have been like, yeah, I want super speed because I just watched the Snyder cut and I felt like Flash was mad important.
Did you watch it?
We did watch it. We watched it in one shot too. That show was 4 hours.
Yeah. My girl just got up. Got a little go by real quick. We don't got to see all that. But yeah, I do want to see. I do want to check that out. I just feel like if it has to be 4 hours to be good, something's not right. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. There was too much. It could have been like a series. I mean, you know,
yeah.
But you know,
I think it's getting such positive reviews. I think that they are trying to actually move forward with more Zack Snyder content, but DC is just so disorganized.
Yeah. They just can't. They seem like they're having trouble getting it together for sure, to say the least.
Yeah.
But so I know you got some music dropping this month.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next week.
This one is what, the view from halfway down?
View from halfway down. Yeah, that's what I called it. Yeah.
That's like, I like that.
It's fire, right? You know, I got that name from. You ever heard of BoJack Horseman?
Yes.
I love that show. That's the name of the second to last episode of the show. And I think it was my favorite episode of the show too. And I really get the message of it because I suffer from clinical depression, undiagnosed for most of my life. And I think I've taken a lot of my like criticisms and my falls really hard on some level because of that, you know, not really realizing that was kind of the core of it, you know, that I take shit really hard, you know, I feel like it's just like I can't process that the right way because I would make me too sensitive. So a lot of it also because of the world that I'm in.
Right.
So I kind of put this project together and it's just 6 songs. It's just 6 songs. Kind of not about the pressure, it's not sad or nothing, but just kind of about the subject matter dealing with loss. Because I've lost like a lot of friends, like even like our mutuals, you know, I've lost some friendships that with people that I still love that meant a lot to me just based on, I don't know, I guess miscommunications or, you know, resentment that wasn't expressed to me, family, you know, and even just romantic relationships. And I just wanted to kind of put all of those thoughts into a single like body of work. And that's what this shit is. And also just my last EP was just way too long ago, you know, and it's like, I don't sound like that anymore. I don't rap like that anymore. Like that's not really my style of content anymore. So I just really had to kind of like rebrand myself. So I want to put this out, not put a lot of pressure on it, just have something new that's out that people who fuck with me could listen to. Then from there on, I just want to really go the single route for a minute where I can just push individual songs and do fire visuals and just kind of build my career off of that. But I just want to have a new foundation for who I am as an artist available on streaming. That's why I took a lot of this stuff down. If you look me up on streaming services now, a lot of the shit that I had is gone. My monthly listeners and shit is gone. And like, it's not much to tune into, but I've learned so much of the business in the time that I've been doing this. I know how to get that shit back like right away. So I just wanted to take my time, put it together in a way that I'm comfortable with. You know, that's what this is going to be, man. I think you're going to like it.
I feel like I mean, I liked your last couple of joints that you put out. Like I really liked Phantom
Mhm.
Pain. And
Yeah, that's
I'm
kind
not
of where I'm at now.
yeah, I'm
Feel like
not
that.
one to pry like I'm never one to pry in anybody's personal business. I just assume
Mhm.
like somebody that I fuck with and respect. I'm just like, oh, this shit seems like it's coming from a real place. Like
Yeah,
that he knows about and it's precious to him. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that kind of music
yeah, yeah.
because you hear it and you vibe with it, but you also like you might reflect on like you could be causing other people to like reflect on other areas of their lives that they might need
Wow.
to
Yeah,
start looking at in a different way. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
really love that.
yeah, yeah, man. Like it's crazy to me too. Like I just had somebody. I used to screenshot these things, but I kind of stopped because I'm like, I feel like as much as it could help my career or make people want to listen to what I'm doing, I feel like it's too shallow for somebody who's expressing shit like this to me. But I had somebody who I work with hit me the other day, say, yo, I knew you rap, but I never really listened, never really thought to tune into your SoundCloud, my SoundCloud particularly. I have way more stuff on SoundCloud now than I do on the streaming services. Because legally, the streaming service is just so much more work. It's clearing samples and shit. He told me, yo, dog, like I just never really thought to, but I listened to it and he gave me like the three that he really fucking said. But he said, like, man, like he said, like it made me cry. And he said, like people like you, like remind me why I do what I do. It's just like I needed that right now. It's like shit like that is overwhelming. Like
Oh
even when
yeah.
you like said everything you said in the beginning, it's like it's because it makes it harder to. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to get to love, but it does make it harder for me sometimes to move forward with my shit because I have those things on my mind always because that's nothing that I feel like anybody should take for granted. Being able to have that kind of effect on people, and it's crazy. But I just hope that when I put this out, a lot of people could take that same thing away from it, man. Or
Absolutely.
some type of feeling that strong, you know.
Well,
Like,
the authenticity is definitely there, and I think because of the fact that you have so much empathy, I think that's probably why it
uh,
makes it
mm,
where you kind of will get maybe stuck in a way like, damn, like I made this person feel this. Like, and I think that's important,
yeah,
man,
it's
because
crazy.
there's a lot of shit out about popping pills and having a good time, but
Hmm.
there is so much room for people to talk about like real things. And it's not
Hmm.
always like real, like fucking like hood shit real. I
Hmm. It ain't
shot
always
this nigga
fun.
type shit.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like, yo,
It's not.
it's like it's like, yo, like no, these are emotions because I feel like a lot of that shit has been overlooked,
Hmm.
especially like coming from where we come from and like, the traumas that we had to deal with as we grew up and became men like after coming from the environments and the experiences that we've had. I feel like
Yeah.
those things are often overlooked. It's like you're a boy, shake it up, you're tough, this shit don't shake it off and keep walk it off, like
Yeah.
fucking man up, like.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able, yo, you could
Like how
still
Bill Burr was raised.
yeah, you could still love that guy. You could
Yeah.
still, be this dude and, have that depth. Like I love that shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's love, man. Yeah. It's just it's important, man, because I feel like I can genuinely say that I like myself better like every year. Like every time I have a birthday, I feel better about like the man that I am. You
oh
know,
yeah.
like and I think that's important because that's me marking growth, right? Like that's me like noticing and acknowledging that there's a real desire to become better all the
Oh yeah.
time and not like on some motivational speaker type way and not ever expecting to be perfect. And I certainly don't want to be anybody's role model, but I feel like there's always going to be evolution in my content because I want to evolve as a person. Like I'm never going to feel stagnant. Like I don't, if anybody ever said that my shit sounds like the same shit, I feel like you're just like, you're listening like one ear out the other. Like you're not really taking it in, you know? Because I pride myself in that. And that's part of why I love what I do, because it does help me grow as a person. Because it's one thing that's amazing about music, right? And another reason why I don't like to be dismissive of any artist is because no matter who you are, even you, even with these podcasts, like when you put something out there digitally in the world, it's there forever. Like they say, when something's on the internet, it's always there. Like dark web or whatever, even if you delete it all, there's going to be a way to pull it up. And with every song that I have, because I have so much personal shit in my content, I'm always gonna be able to listen back to like memories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's certain shit I'll just never be able to forget. You know, or in certain ways I'll be able to even hear it. I can hear it in my voice when I listen to old shit. Where it's like watching an embarrassing video of myself because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I said that, or I put that together like that, or I did it like that. And I love that, man. It's like I feel like in a lot of ways, me doing music is like a gift to myself because you know, I'm like it's giving me the opportunity to mark my growth in something.
Absolutely.
I think that's dope.
And I think that's your teleportation right there, bro.
Ooh, look how you brought it back, yo. Look at you. Look at you with the callbacks, man.
You feel me? Put that track on and you're right there in that place, bro. I think that's huge. That's major. Yeah. Like I think that you said that for a reason, you know what I mean? Because that shit is true. That shit is heavy, bro.
Because I'm trying to sell albums. No, yeah, but I feel like that though, man.
That's dope, man. Yeah. Well, let us know when it's dropping and let us know we can find you on social media, bro. And first of all, also, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show, bro. It's always good talking to you. Yeah. And it's just great to have you, man. It's good seeing you. Man.
Yeah, you too, dog. I want to just be in contact more in general. Because I feel like every time one of us reaches out to the other, we always get back. You know, it's just, so I feel like we could do a little better with that. I mean, everybody's grown, so it's kind of hard to make the time for everything, but I want to definitely do like a blind taste test and shit. You know, I want to be around. I genuinely enjoy your content, man. Before I even drop my information, I just want to say that about you too, because I can see your growth and everything that you've been doing too. And I've told you this off air a bunch of times. I think every time I talk to you, I tell you how much I enjoy what you're doing with this, man. And the evolution of the format and how good you just are at it naturally, almost intimidating even. And I do a lot of like radio interviews and shit, and you have your shit together. The email again, you know, and it sounds like a joke, it sounds funny, but it shows just how serious you're taking yourself and what you're doing. And you jumped in a lot of bags already between doing the live shows and then doing this, and then fucking, you said you want to jump into comedy, like on the stand-up level. And I feel like you have like the brain for it, the talent for it, and the innate desire to always pursue something different that you're interested in. And I think that's fire, dog, especially as we get older, because it's so easy to get cynical with time, man. So I love having people like you around me. It does inspire me. Like I get pinged when you upload and shit. Like you're one of those people that Instagram tells me when you post and shit. Because it helps me. Because you know, it's so much other bullshit on there. So it's like there's some people I want to know when they put certain content out because I know it'll feed my soul, as they say.
Wow, man. I just want you to know you just threw that back to me. Now I
feel
man.
Hey man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm really working on just being like, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope I can continue to do that.
Yeah, man.
You know, thank you, man.
Of course, dog. But yeah, I'm not huge on social media. My only thing that I really comfortably use where you could get any updates on anything that I'm doing is my Instagram. That's Dante Hill, with a underscore before the D and an underscore after the L. Dante spelled Dante, Hill spelled like a hill, Hill. View from Halfway Down dropping April 16th. That's next week. And yeah, that's about it, man. Just follow me and look at some dope shit. Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. Well, thank you so much, guys. Go follow him. Check out his content. Follow me. Like the show. Share it. Subscribe to it. Keep on listening every week. And stay tuned because we got more fun, exciting shit popping up.
Hey.
Later, guys.
I thought I wasn't gonna make it, but I'm fucking here, baby. Y'all mad I still fucking live. Y'all mad I didn't fucking die like a sucker, huh? All jokes aside, none of us know how we going out. None of us know how we gonna kick the fucking ball.
We're friends in here like this, nigga. Who the fuck would need enemies to exist, nigga? Knocking homies off every year, feel like the list bigger. I go for revenge, I can't forgive niggas. And I've been knocking shorties down until she looking like it's dominoes. Whipping around in touring, brand new foreign in the Fabio. Lost my destination, ain't no telling now where I'ma go. I make sure I'm late, I walk in favor, keep my eyelids low. Ain't no way to wake it out your head, you niggas all resolved.
What I do know is that I'm
head above the water while I'm drowning in my hardest thoughts. AP two-tone, shorty moaning out Papi though. Davies these blues on, bloody know about my body though. Shorty from the valley, she a baddie and a stallion. Her body, yaddy, yaddy, fucking on me while her mommy on. Ain't a lot of fuck shit on my side, that's where they solid on. Fucking never gave a nigga shit, but still I got it though. Pissy on the plane for 7 hours, I was nodding off and fucking in the bathroom, pissed attendants and the pilot off. Thinking on the level, past these dinosaurs around me, sending shots to everybody like I'm Dr. fucking Fauci. Ballin' on them niggas, made a locker room surround me, got me higher than them shorties on Euphoria, don't doubt me, nigga. I had to offset niggas, dropping all this dead weight so I could take off quicker. Told my sweetie baby we gon' get these Quavo figures. Yeah, she hates soft niggas. Still don't give permission for beasts to breathe when I'm on them. My competition is snoring, it's 3:13 in the morning. This is how I feel about you hating on my recordings. I hope that your lady hates you and get your baby aborted. Your page at 100K and deleted when it's reported. Disrespectful, like mask is off and I'm coughing. Still ain't peak shit, I'm awesome. I'm in these streets with the orphans. I empty heat on your pulse to your floorboards, creek worth a dozen. Then I'm off this. But you gon' have to tell me what you want from me.
I love you too, you're an amazing person. I can't wait for you to rise to the top.
And we will.